Hello. It looks like we already started getting participants. Welcome,
Woohoo!
Harold, Doug. Wow, this is filling up fast. Look at that.
Awesome to
Do
see
you see
people
any?
on here. And I'm wondering, I know you joined probably because you want to learn a little bit about video. So who has done some video outreach before, used video before?
I feel like I see some Sendspark. Hey, Doug. Woohoo. Sweet. I feel like I see some Sendspark users in here too. So that's awesome.
Nice.
We're gonna give it a few more seconds, like get comfortable, grab your cup of coffee or cup of whatever. No one's judging. Um, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So grab whatever, and then we'll get started really soon because we're really excited to get this going.
Yeah, and I'll just tell like a funny video story since that's the whole topic of conversation today. Or I guess it's not a story, it's something that happens to me a lot is when I go to record videos, and Selena and I will talk about this later, is I have this great natural light in front of me that luckily I don't even have to turn a light on for. But then I go to record videos and it's one of my last tasks of the day. And especially in winter, the sun is already down. So I'm like, oh, I have to wait till tomorrow. Otherwise, I'm gonna look like a ghost in my room. I don't know if that happens to you, Selena.
All the time. Well, I think before we yeah, obviously we got this started, we were both like, does this look okay? Like, does this
Yeah.
light shining the way it is? Placement is everything, but don't worry, we're gonna get to that, you guys.
Yeah, totally. And I'd say it's important, but don't obsess over it because I've gotten to that point where I'm looking at different angles. I'm trying to like sit with like a cardboard box with my laptop on it. And I'm like, I just need to relax.
So true. All right. So I think we have enough people in here to get started. People as they join, they'll be able to catch up. But I really am super excited to do this with you, Maggie. And hey, Kevin, how you doing? But I'm super excited to do this with you. Love that this is going to be super conversational as well. But just to get kind of started and let you guys know who I am, because I see a lot of unfamiliar names. My name is Selena, and I am the Director of Customer Success for Sendspark. You can see our lovely picture. We actually look like we really were together there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
Someday.
yeah, I'm from Sendspark and I love being at Sendspark. I was actually just a fun fact, because we're going to keep these intros pretty brief, but a fun fact, I was actually a super user for Sendspark before I came here to Sendspark and started my career. And I was a super user for about 2 years. And now I've been here for, it's going to be a year in April, which I'm super excited and proud to say. But yeah, that's a little bit about me. And then just real quick before I introduce this wonderful person that is on the other virtual end, I want to tell you that if you want, go ahead and start chatting with us. I see some of you already doing that. So we love that. We love to interact whenever we can. So please definitely do that. And if you have questions, don't worry, you can use the Q&A section in here. But we are also going to have a Q&A session at the very end. And if for whatever reason you have to hop off, which hopefully you don't have to, because we're going to have a very special announcement. We're also going to have some gifts. This is the season to be, jolly and merry. So please don't miss any of that, but we are going to have a recording. So without further ado, I would love to go ahead and present this wonderful person that I've had the honor of working with lately, Maggie.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that introduction. Yeah, like Selena said, we're going to keep things pretty brief here. My name is Maggie. I'm the sales evangelist at Mailshake. For those of you who don't know Mailshake, Mailshake is a sales engagement tool. So I love to talk about all things prospecting, whether it be email, LinkedIn, calling, and of course, video is part of prospecting. And that's why I'm super excited to talk about creating videos that convert. I hope people can see my screen still. I saw some things with Zoom go back and forth. Perfect. Awesome. So yeah, to get right into it, to start a webinar with about video, we thought we'd start it with a video. So I actually used Sendspark to do this, but we're actually going to start this video right here and we'll give some context to it after. So, did you know this one thing could increase your reply rates by 90%? You probably guessed it, it's video. And that's exactly why we're on this webinar today. Selena and I are super excited to talk with you about videos that actually convert. So let's get into it. All right, awesome. So that video was 17 seconds, but in the first 5 seconds, I gave a statistic. And that's where I'm going to hand it over and talk a little bit about the tactics we're going to talk about today. One of them being the 5 second rule. And other things that we'll talk about after is video setup, CTAs, deliverability, and personalization at scale. And again, we have a special announcement at the end and also some promotions. So hopefully you stay with us. But Selena, can you tell us a little bit about that video, break it down for us, and talk about the 5 second rule?
Absolutely. I'm happy to. So the 5 second rule, you've probably heard of it before. And the 5 second rule is not, okay, I dropped food on the floor. Let me grab it within the 5 seconds. Not going to be as germy. It is, but it's not. Okay. For
Mhm.
in this case, it's going to be the first 5 seconds. How can you make your video impactful? How can you get somebody to engage and not leave your video? So kind of like today, we started off chatty, we started off that, but we really wanted to start it off with that specific video for a couple of different reasons. So you notice that the start of her video, Maggie went into a statistic, which is amazing. That is a really great way to capture attention and to really kind of get people thinking like, wow, what was the percentage? Was it 96% that you said, Maggie? I don't remember.
90%. Yep. Mhm.
Yeah. So that already in my head, I've heard it a few times, but I'm like, wow, 90, that is a huge, that is huge impact. So if that's going to leave you with a little bit of like, curiosity and wanting to know more, then that's exactly what Maggie did correct, because she did that in the first 5 seconds and grabbed your attention. You definitely want to do something like that. The other thing Maggie did in this video, she kind of did a little combination there. She also asked a question. So questions are going to be super impactful. Just with like a show of an emoji, it could be like a thumbs up or whatever emoji you like. But just with a show of that, how many of you have social media? I want to see. Raised hand. Okay, yeah, we have a lot. We have a lot of people with social media. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm the worst at social media. But okay, cool. So you guys know that when it comes to social media, the videos, or should I say maybe even like the influencers that get the most engagement are the ones that are doing these 5 second rules. Like they're asking questions. And asking question is again another way to really get engagement. Because when you're asked a question, you feel like, you're included. You also feel like you want to participate, right? It's almost like, when you're getting to know somebody, maybe a networking event or something, when people are asking you questions, you're like, oh, wow, they really want to know a little bit more about me. And that's perfect. That's exactly what you want. And that's going to happen within those first 5 seconds. The last thing is conversational. So if you start a video and you do something that it's just super conversational from beginning to end, and you're looking directly at the camera and talking to somebody as if you were already talking to them in person, that is a huge game changer. And that's also something that a lot of influencers do. A lot of people who are public speakers, like really, known public speakers, they're talking to you like that, even if they're on a virtual event like this. So I would definitely recommend starting off your videos really strong within the first 5 seconds if you're trying to keep engagement. Try to stay away from the whole, hi, my name is Selena, because it's played out. It kind of is a little bit boring.
Mhm.
So, definitely try to kind of expand your horizons. And if you have a great product or service, these are going to be really easy for you to do.
Yeah, awesome. Great job going through that. The 5 second rule, really important to have hooks. And we talk about hooks in all different areas of marketing and sales too. A couple of questions that just came in here from people, but what was I going to say? The first thing is this going to be recorded? Yes, it is going to be recorded. Correct? Yeah, awesome.
It's already recorded.
Yeah, perfect. And they'll get the recording after it. So perfect. I put that in there. And yeah, the background music, I have not heard any. So I think it might be on your end. But awesome, Selena. Thank you so much for going through that first tactic. And so we talk about what's going to actually get someone to watch that video or keep watching that video. And it's really having that powerful first 5 seconds. But one thing and one statistic I want to share about it, and the reason why that's important, and the next subject I'm going to talk about is important, is that 86% of businesses use video marketing as a use video as a marketing tool. And that's in 2022. 86% of businesses. That means a lot of people are making videos out there and you need a way to stand out. So the 5-second rule is a way to stand out, just like Selena talked about. But then you also want to make sure that your setup is on point. And that's why I talk about in this next section is lights, camera, and action. I kind of like to compare it to how we used to do LinkedIn profile pictures. So on LinkedIn, we used to just kind of like crop from our friend's wedding a picture of ourselves, and it was blurry and pixelated. And that really doesn't stand a chance on LinkedIn anymore. People preach this all the time. If you want to have a professional LinkedIn profile picture, take it yourself. You can do it with your iPhone. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but just set it up and make sure that there's no one with you. You're not at a wedding. You don't have a drink in your hand unless it's part of your personality. You can. But the same thing with video. So since 86% of businesses are using video right now, make sure that your setup is good. So a couple things that I just want to mention that have helped me a lot when it comes to creating videos and people watching my videos or even just clicking the play button is making sure that I have a professional camera. So I use the Anker C200 camera. It was about $50 out there on Amazon. So it wasn't a huge investment. And then as far as my audio, so my microphone right here, shout out to Samsung. It was a Samsung Q2U, and it's only about $50 as well. But again, just make sure that you don't have background noises, your camera audio all look good from there. And then this is probably one of our favorite is Selena and I use for lighting and positioning is we put our desks right in front of a window with a lot of natural light. I don't have a ring light in here. I know Selena uses a light, so I'm going to turn it over to Selena to talk a little bit about her setup.
Yes. So I'm just laughing because we literally had this conversation right before the webinar, but it's so hard when you have to position your desk or wherever you're going to be recording at. If it has to be directly in front of a window, be careful because that natural light is wonderful, but it can also be kind of like off-putting. And with the off-putting, I mean, like you'll have like brightness in places you didn't know. Like you can even see right now, I have the window in front of me. Like, look at all this shininess happening. I do also have 2 lights though. I have a ring light, and I can just, shut my curtain, of course, but I do have a little ring light. It was like $20 on Amazon. It works wonders. It just clips onto your monitor. And then I have this other really cool light. I don't want to blind you guys with it, but it's this one.
Awesome.
Bethany, our co-founder CEO, she's amazing and she sent it to me because she's great. But it works really great. And my recommendation is if you're going to have 2 lights, it's better than 1 for sure. Just keep it at like a dim level if you're going to have all this natural light, and also have it so that it's like on one side there's one light and another side there's another, just because it's going to help avoid having that like cast or like that shadowy effect.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like Selena mentioned, we're going to have all these recommendations in an email to you over afterwards. I also chatted in some of my setup in there so you can take it from the comments for anyone there. And yeah, we will have the recording in there for anyone who's joined late, but awesome. So yeah, we talked about what's going to get people to watch a video, what's going to get people to click play on there, having a good setup. So making that sure that looks professional, also having that hook in there. And the one thing I'll say just on the setup part of things is when I started to get a better setup and do videos with it, more people asked me to do videos for them or get on webinars or go on LinkedIn Live. And really they care about your setup. They may want to make sure the microphone sounds good. You have a professional camera. You don't have things going on in your background. That's why Selena and I blur ours. So I don't have to clean up all the time behind me, but it really is important because 86% of businesses are using video now. So find a way to stand out from there.
And then to add to that, Maggie, I know you were saying about the microphone, and you have a really cool one that I really want that you talked about. But if you don't have a microphone, or maybe you just don't have the means to buy one right now, then you could also use applications. Like right now, I'm using something called Crisp. Again, we can link all of these recommendations into an email later with the recording of this webinar, but it works really cool. And no, I'm not a sponsor for Crisp, but it does work really nicely, as you can hear. At least I hope it sounds great. But yeah, you can use something like that and it'll still help.
Yeah, absolutely. There's great applications out there. And again, we'll give all this tactical advice afterwards, but cool. since I'm a statistic person, if you couldn't already tell, another statistic I have, and what we're going to be talking about next is the end of video. So you want to have a structure or framework that your team uses. But one thing that's super important is having a CTA. And to get right into it is this statistic I got from Mixpanel this year. So including one clear CTA in emails boosts clicks by 371%. So that number goes up whether you're using any type of channel. And the one key thing I want to point out here is the word one, or at least having a CTA at all. I can't tell you how many times I get prospecting videos myself that don't even have an action of me to do anything. I don't have a question. I don't have a link to click. So it's so important to have at least one thing that someone can do. And I always like to refer back to a friend of mine that I was talking to, Nate Stolt now, who's really good at cold email. But he says, think of your cold emails or your cold outreach, whether that be video, is to make sure that it's kind of like a landing page that you're getting a human being to do one thing. So when you're thinking about video and structuring your video, what's the one thing that you want someone to do at the end of that video? And we'll give some suggestions here. So again, don't skip the CTA. Don't create a great video, have a great hook to just not have someone do something at the end or ask them to do something. And some great calls to actions to use in video are scheduling links. So do you want someone to click on your Calendly link and put that in there? Is it a registration link? So are you sending a video over to someone to get them to go on a webinar like today, or replying back to the email? So maybe you just simply want them to get back to you by writing back to you. And I know Selena has a few things that she likes to use with her Sendspark videos, so I'll let her take it away from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Sendspark, honestly, having the CTA is really cool because you don't have to have like a specific type of text. You can customize your text. What I mean by that is, let's say you're going to use the registration link. You can be as cheesy as you want, because I am very cheesy, as you haven't noticed in this webinar. But you might, instead of saying like register here, you might want to say save my spot, or there, just whatever you want. Maybe those weren't as cheesy as I thought they would be, but you could really customize it however you want in the text part of it. And then you can add your URL in the CTA. But again, just like Maggie said, the stats are super, super high and super impactful. And it's just like Maggie said too, like I've had a lot of videos that came in and I didn't know what I was supposed to do. So
Yeah.
if for whatever reason you don't feel like you have a call to action for someone to give, then use your website. Drive people to your website, get people to, have more traffic on your website, because there might be something really interesting and relevant to them based off of what you've said to them in your video. So there's all kinds of them. My favorite one is my calendar link. I always want to make sure that I'm booking calls and being there for people to support them and guide them. So you could definitely do that. You can even use a phone number when you're using Sendspark. So honestly, the options that you have are super limitless. So think outside the box, get creative, especially because you can customize the text part in the URL or for the button.
Yeah, awesome. I love those things that you can do in there, sending a video reply if you wanted to. But yeah, end of the day, just like Selena and I talked about, make sure to have a CTA. I've seen it skipped and people worry about so many other things in videos and a couple of things that we're talking about, but you want to make sure that you're asking someone to do something at the end and that it's super, super clear, whether it be a link or asking them to reply to something. So awesome. And we see some questions coming in here. I'm going to save a couple of these until the end. So definitely stick around. And yeah, we'll definitely make some time for them.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what, Maggie? Sorry,
You're
I want
fine.
to piggyback off of that reply with video. For those of you who are kind of unfamiliar with Sendspark, we actually have a link where it will allow you to send to your recipient. Your recipient doesn't necessarily have to have a Sendspark account, but if you want to reduce the friction in your communication and you want to hear from them, maybe you want them to have a recording on their screen, or you want them to introduce themselves, then you can add that link into the registration part, or should I say the URL part, and then your viewer, your recipient, can go ahead and seamlessly create a video, whether it's just their face, whether it's just their screen, or they can even upload a video. And again, it's super frictionless because they don't have to have an account with Sendspark, but it really creates that ease. And trust me, your recipients are going to be like, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah, it's like how I want to respond to text now with just a voice message so I don't have to type things out.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So, next part of this, it really comes from the email side. So, we create a great video. We have a great setup for it. We have a CTA. Now, where are we going to send that video? Are we going to send it through email? Are we going to send it through LinkedIn? There's a lot of other creative ways that I can't think about right now to send a video, but it's really thinking about the channel next. But I want to talk about something that's really, really important, especially when it comes to email. And this is kind of my bread and butter. I do a lot of coaching, I do email teardowns, but I want to talk to you about email open rates and why they're important when it comes to sending over videos. So, email open rates under 20% are most likely to end in spam. So, if I was anyone on this webinar and I felt like my open rate was under 20%, you can always reach out to me, Maggie@mailshake.com. I can do a deliverability analysis for you, totally free. I just love helping people with deliverability. But the reason why I mentioned this is because we're talking about video and we're talking about the first email that we send over to someone is our first impression. So let me back up. I'm talking about deliverability. Deliverability basically means, are you a safe sender or are you a person that could get into a spam folder? And the reason why I'm talking about this with video is an amazing way to communicate. I love using video. That's why I'm on this webinar today. But we want to be careful with it in email. And I'm saying to not put videos in emails. That's not what I'm saying at all. But if you're doing prospecting and you're doing cold emailing, your first email is your first impression. So to break this down for you, it's again your first impression. You're going to meet someone and they want to learn a little bit more about you. Your email server is the same way. So let's say that I never even emailed Selena in my life before. The first time I send her an email, her email server is going to be watching me like a hawk. They're going to be like, who's Maggie? What's this company Mailshake? And what is Maggie sending over to Selena? And if I put words in there like free or guarantee, email servers typically filter those into a spam folder. And the same thing with video. So again, because it's a heavier type of message than just plain text. So am I saying to avoid video and email? That's not what I'm saying at all. Use it in a follow-up or use it with your customers or use it with a prospect or lead you've already been in communication with and have it as a follow-up because guess what? I use video and email. I just put it in my second email over to someone. It's my second prospecting email to make sure that I'm safe on a deliverability standpoint because I don't want that email to be heavy. And the last thing is I always say if you are going to use video and there's a channel that has no such thing as a spam folder and it's called LinkedIn. I love using video for LinkedIn. Embedding a video into a LinkedIn message is great. It pops up that little previews right there for someone to click on. So you can always use it there, but use it in email, just use it safely. So if you're putting a video in an email, try not to put a lot of other HTML or images in there and wait until the reply back email because it takes 5 to 7 emails to get someone to turn into a lead. So just wait till the second email to do it.
Yeah. And if you do, if you do need to do the first impression, because it does work,
Mhm.
if you need to add the video on the first try, then I would say one thing that's important is don't just send the preview, because honestly, with Sendspark, you can send this beautiful thumbnail and it looks
Mhm.
amazing. And it doesn't typically go into spam, but give context to your video, but also avoid some of those verbiage words that Maggie was
Yeah.
out, because then that's going to really look spammy. But give it context. I've seen so many people
Mhm.
literally say, "Hi, Maggie." And then there's this beautiful preview that you've created or thumbnail that you've created with SenseSpark. And then it just says, "Okay, kindest regards." And there's no context to it. And even though you can add like customization on the thumbnail, you still want to give some kind of context, even if it's, "Hey, Maggie, we haven't met yet, so I wanted to go ahead and put a name to the face." And that being the case, please check out this video. It also has a fun question. I don't know, I'm going off whim here right now, but just giving you some context is going to help your viewer feel a little bit more comfortable opening up that video and email.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And Selena, you brought us perfectly into our next point there is it's personalization at scale, context. So make sure that you're not just copying and pasting the same message over to every single person that you're talking to, but you're actually personalizing it for the people that you're reaching out to. And we'll give an example of this. But the last tactic that I want to talk about here is personalization at scale. And the first thing I want to talk about is time. I don't have all the time in the world to create a personalized, very detailed video for every single person on my prospecting list. If I did, that would be amazing, but I don't. And most people don't there either. And that's why I'd say at first, if you really do want to wow someone, have like a really, really great personalized video to your prospects. There's always at least, like, when I look at my prospect list of about 100 people, there's about 5 people that I would say I would die to do business with them, or I'd love to create super creative personalized videos for them. But for everyone else, there's dynamic fields, which Sendspark does super, super well. And Mailshake now is integrated with. So that's exactly what I'm going to show you. Woo! That was our announcement there. But yeah, Mailshake and Sendspark are now integrated. So it is super easy to do personalization at scale, add videos to emails, and add dynamic fields or text replacements. And to show you a little bit of what that looks like here, I'm going to exit out and I want to make sure people are still with me. So can we see Sendspark right here?
I can see it.
Amazing.
Yep, we've got people that I can see it as well. Awesome.
Awesome. Cool. So what I mean by personalization at scale is I created this video like we did in the beginning here, 90% higher reply rates when we use video. But I want to send it to people and I want that message to be personalized right here. So that's where I can add these first name fields, these dynamic fields right in Sendspark, first name, their company name. And then next I want to share this video and I want to send it over email, or I want to use it as a LinkedIn message. And that's where that integration of Mailshake could work seamlessly here. So I'm going to hit share video. I have this personalization already set up, which is going to pull in there. So all I have to do is copy that link right there. I uploaded, let's say, that 100 list of contacts that I want to reach out to, all with their names, company names on a spreadsheet. And then I want to come over here, paste that video in there, and they're all going to have that personalized message, that personalized header in there when I'm sending it over to them. So this is how we can do personalization at scale without beating ourselves with a stick, because it's going to take us forever. It didn't really take me that long. That video is 18 seconds. I copy and pasted it here. I put that little personalization message right here, so everyone feels like they're getting a personalized video from me.
Absolutely. And you did that so well. It's so funny because I get so many people saying, yes, Elena, you make it look so effortless because you work for Sendspark. So that's why I wanted to make sure that Maggie, you did this part. And I think it's a nice little treat that you're using it. But also super excited that we get to collaborate with you and partner with you and have this awesome integration, because I know a lot of clients who use Mailshake.
Yeah, absolutely. And video is just another way to stand out, whether you're sending video or doing LinkedIn, you're doing it safely. Video is just a great way to stand out, have that first impression over to someone. And yeah, making sure that you stand out with the other people who are using video, or the other people who are sending those prospecting emails as well. But now that we've made that announcement, so this Sendspark Mailshake integration, we do have a couple of offers for everyone that's on this webinar right now. And so let me talk a little bit about the Mailshake offer. So it is really easy to sign up for Mailshake and Sendspark and start using video or email. But really where it comes down to is, what type of strategy are you using? And that's where experts on the Mailshake team, we have a done for you campaign where we'll actually write your cold emails for you. We'll write LinkedIn messages, cold calling scripts. And we are running a deal right now where that's 15% off. So to have a campaign done for you, one that you can use, one that you can use templates with after, and even get a full revision with, which is awesome, it would only cost $12.53. And we have that deal in there. If anyone wants any more information about it, we can send info after, or you can email me at maggie@mailshake.com. It does expire in a couple weeks here. So if you want to get on this, you can. But after listening to this webinar today, you can get that deal there. Awesome. And I'll hand it over to you, Selena.
Yes, thank you so much for that, Maggie. That is awesome. That's an amazing deal. So whoever's not getting that, you're gonna miss out. Don't miss out on it. We also have a really great deal with Sendspark as well. So if you don't have Sendspark, now is the time. We do also have a free trial period. So I would definitely recommend hopping on that, seeing which plan is going to be the best for you. And then you can go ahead and use this code. And I don't know if anybody who loves puns is here with me right now, but I really thought this was genius. Shake it up,
Yes.
shake. So go ahead and use Shake It Up. I just put that into the chat here, and it is going to give you Sendspark for 33% off for the next 3 months. So please don't miss out on that offer. And then just anybody who does already have like a pro plan, but you've been contemplating going into the business plan because now you have more team, you're expanding. Definitely try that business plan. I will tell you that there's also another treat with the business plan. You do get a customer success manager, and we help with so much. We'll help you with scripting. We'll help you with training sessions. We'll help you find ways to help convert your videos. We'll even come up with an actual success plan that'll help you and your team really find the results that you're looking for. So don't miss out. Please go ahead and use this code, and we're going to keep it open for the next 48 hours. Sorry, 48 hours.
Awesome. Yeah, everyone hop on that deal. Again, I was using Sendspark. It's super easy to use. I am surprisingly not super tech savvy of a person, and Sendspark was really easy to get started with and start creating videos with. But awesome. So thank you. Thank you so much for listening to this, talking a little bit about video and those 5 tactics we use. I do want to get into some questions here. I think we can see, Lena, do we have a little bit of time to answer some questions here?
Yeah, we're a little over time, but whoever
Okay.
is available, like we can answer just a few questions at least.
Yeah. Let me pull this up right here. Let's see. There's some ones, Andre, of introducing. We'll just I think Andre got those answered in the chat there. Santosh, what is the camera configuration that you used? I use the Anchor C200 SK, and we'll give that information after. So just answered that one live. And then anonymous attendees, we got a couple questions in here. Can I send a video via Sendspark with a CTA on it? Yes, you can.
It'll be right in the video landing page, which is super cool. So as soon as that video is playing, you'll be able to see that CTA at the very bottom. And again, like I was saying before, you can customize the text on your CTA, so you can make it say whatever you want it to say. Of course, I definitely recommend making sure that it's relevant.
Yeah, absolutely. And then can I send with any type of link with the SS video?
I want to make sure that I understand this question correctly. Are you talking about like the link of the video, or are you talking about like a URL link for the CTA? We'll wait for you to say something.
Yeah. Awesome. So cool. And then what email service do you suggest? I mean, I'm completely biased, but I use Mailshake. Mailshake's really easy to embed any of that in. And like I talked about earlier with deliverability, it's really easy for us to educate you on that. And we help all of our customers make sure that they're getting into the inbox, whether they want to use video or not. But obviously, we want you to use video because it's going to help you stand out.
Yep, absolutely.
And but do you use automation on LinkedIn, or do you send one by one? It depends. Some people use automation for LinkedIn. We do have a functionality for semi-automation with Mailshake, which Mohan just asked that question as well. We have email automation and LinkedIn automation. So if anyone has any questions about LinkedIn or email automation, you can always email me at maggie@mailshake.com.
Yeah. And then don't forget, Sendspark has an integration with LinkedIn. So sending a video on LinkedIn is super easy. You'll get this really cool thumbnail that your viewer is going to see. So it makes it a little bit easier and more, I guess, inviting for your recipient to want to open it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's some questions in here about thumbnails. So yeah, you can choose to put the thumbnail in the email if you want. You can just put a link in there if you want to. It's totally up to you, however you want to do it. And then what does the video look like once it's sent? It's going to have that preview in there. So if you do sign up for the free trial of Sendspark, you can just send test emails to yourself. It's going to look the same way as if you were doing it with Gmail or anything like that. The same way would look in Mailshake too. So I think we just answered a couple of those in there. I think we have about 2 more left. Give me 1 second. Does Sendspark also work with Pardot?
That one doesn't sound familiar. I don't think we have that one on our integration list, but if you want, I can send the integration list in here in a moment. And but we can also add that to our feature request link or list as far as, trying to get that integration, because we're always looking for different integrations. So I'll make sure that I add that for you.
Awesome. Thanks for doing that, Selena. And then last thing about Mailshake, any other discounts? Right now, we have the discount on the done for you service. You will sign up for a Mailshake plan before. And yeah, we do have annual billing. So that's our discount for the done for you is the 15% off. Awesome. I think that was like the speed round of it.
Yeah, that was fun. That was really cool. And you know what? I think that I saw one question that kind of stood out to me earlier, and I just wanted to make sure I answered it.
Yeah.
I also popped in the integration list that we have into the chat, but just real fast, I think I remember someone asking, okay, but don't we need to add our introduction at some point in the video? And this was when we were talking about the 5-second rule and, starting it off with a question, statistic, or being conversational. And yeah, you do want to do that, but the best way to do that is getting your hook in first and then telling why you're so qualified to talk about that. That's always a really great go-to way of getting the rest of the video and being fluid about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's having that hook in there and a pattern interrupt. A lot of people want to do their videos at first of announcing themselves or introducing themselves. So just be a little bit opposite there and make yourself stand out by doing it a bit later in the video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. So this was so much fun, Maggie. This was great to chat with you and to chat with everybody else here in our webinar. Thank you guys all so much for coming. We really do appreciate it. We love when you show us all this love and support. So I will leave it at that. If you need anything, you can feel free to contact me. I'm going to go ahead and add my email in the chat as well. And then I believe, Maggie, you've already sent your information on here too, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. All right. Cool. So that is it for us today. Maggie, is there anything that you wanted to leave off with?
Nope. If anyone has any questions about video prospecting with email, LinkedIn, or deliverability, feel free to message me, Maggie@mailshake.com over email, or you can always find me on LinkedIn, Maggie Bloom @Mailshake. So nope, super happy to be on here. Thank you so much, Selena and Sendspark.
Thank you, Maggie. Bye, everyone. Have a good one.
All right, bye.